let's go there. You know, you say you never get a second chance to make a first impression. How do we just crush that first interaction, make that first great impression?
Yeah, well, it's so important today more than ever. You know, Brian, I think we have more options today, maybe than ever in the history of our country. People have so many options. And if you're not just got your game face on and ready to play as soon as you show up when you're meeting with a customer, they're going to find somebody who is. People want to feel important. And, you know, Dan and Chip Heath wrote that great book, Power of Moments, and they talk about this. They give a great example in their book where they talk about a college student's 4-year college experience, and that 40% of what a college student remembers from their 4-year college experience happens in the first 6 weeks of their time at college. And what that tells us is a couple things. Number one, experiences are remembered in moments. And number two, those moments are front loaded. What happens in the initial time of that meeting? You know, if a 4-year experience is remembered in 6 weeks, I like to go look at it like this. A 2-year experience is remembered in 3 weeks, a 1 year in a week and a half. Well, things are happening so fast today. So what does a 1-week relationship, what do you have to make an impression in that? About 30 seconds. And you know, Brian, we get so distracted. We're on our phones. We are texting while we're driving. We're closing deals while we're driving. And then we pull up and we think we're going to be all in and ready for that meeting. We're not. But you have to be. Because if you're not, your customer is going to find somebody who is.
You know, the ability to be present. And for me, I've always done this, and you know, intuitively, unconsciously. You know, I used to I'd play this one song. I loved it. It was called the Bolero, Ravel's Bolero. And it was a dance team called Torval and Dean, a British dance team. And they were the first people to ever score perfect tens in the Olympics. And they had this beautiful music. And I would, on the way to an appointment, 10 minutes out, and I'll age myself, I was in my Isuzu Rodeo, and I would put in the CD, and I would play Ravel's Bolero, which took about 8 minutes. And the reason was I had a hectic day. I was doing business all day, maybe multiple transactions, multiple problems, multiple fires to put out. But I wanted to be there for this customer. You know why? Because that was the only house they were selling that year.
Love that.
And it was one of 120 for me, but it was one of one for them. And I wanted to be fully present. So what I would do is I'd play this music, and it would take me a few minutes to unwind. It would take me a few minutes to calm down. But by the time I arrived, and then the music naturally has this big crescendo at the end, which I would literally find myself sometimes like just screeching to a halt in front of the client's house, walking in. But I was totally kind of jacked up, fired up. I was able to be totally present and able to listen with my whole body.
Yes.
And then I would find people... And then what would the people say about me? Man, he really cares.
Yes.
He really cares because I was really present. So I think that's a great dynamic.